So for more insight, we really need some help here from former RCMP Deputy Commissioner P.Y. Bourdois. So P.Y., today it was thought Miles could have been at the James Smith Cree Nation. It turned out he was not there. And I'm curious, both psychologically and I suppose substantively, what does that do to the investigation? What do you think is happening there right now?
Well, the investigations are actually progressing, as the chief indicated. The RCMP and other law enforcement agencies are using all the tools that they have at their disposal in order to ensure that they can gather as much information as possible to actually have focused deployment of resources if need be. But the fact of the matter is they're reaching out to people that have been or could have been associated with the main suspect in this particular case. They're trying to build a profile, trying to determine the way this individual is actually thinking, where he could be heading to. But there are a number of options and scenarios that they're considering. Like, for instance, is he, like it was reported that he was seen with another individual that is, early Sunday afternoon. What does that mean? Does he have support from someone else to help him out? Or even a worst possible scenario is that he could have actually effected a break and enter, for instance, in one residence and use this place as a staging area for him to move on and to go somewhere else.
So I suppose listening to you talk, sort of, the subtle tools they're using explain why it probably doesn't look like there's a manhunt. We're not saying checkpoints. There's not a very obvious presence, both in Regina or here, but obviously that doesn't mean it's not happening.
Exactly. And if the law enforcement agencies would deploy the resources in a given area, it's predicated, obviously, on serious intel that have been gathered. And then they would be in a position then to potentially cordon off the area and proceed with searches of vehicle and residences predicated again on solid information and evidence. But they need to strike the right balance also with the community to actually have communication, open communication, transparent communication, without being too alarmist, because as we've heard in your report earlier this evening, the population, both on First Nation territories and elsewhere in the province of Saskatchewan, everyone is on pins and needles because, of course, they have someone that is on the loose that could potentially create further harms for innocent people.
Are you surprised that there's been no sign of a reward for information at this point?
Not at all. The RCMP and other agencies, by and large, will not rely on rewards. They rely on the good conscience of Canadians that are, most of us, traumatized by what happened there. And if there's any way that Canadian writ large, people in Saskatchewan First Nation, can help the police track this individual, what's key is that anything that looks out of the ordinary for any people, it's key and important to report this fact, for instance, to investigators, so they can actually determine whether or not this is something that is crucial to their investigation, maybe the missing piece that they were looking for. So again, the message is quite clear to the general population. You have skins in the game, and you need to report out of the ordinary events that is in your daily lives.
All right. P.Y. Bourdois, thank you.